Can target switch Voltaic Bronze. Awesome. So for this scenario, which is of course in the same category as a bounce 90 tracking, but it's a little bit different in the sense that you have smaller targets on a bigger wall. So the first thing that changes, of course, is it's recommended to play on a higher sense. So I like to play 120 on quick champions if I don't use 103 Overwatch. So 103 Overwatch is like my default for most scenarios, except for target switch, where then you can use a higher sense. So some people prefer 110 Overwatch, some people use some source sense. I use quick champions 120 for target switch because, well, you know, that's where the quick pros play quick champions. They play 124th field of view. So that's what I do here. And with this scenario, of course, so on the bounce scenario, you go for the target that has a correct motion. Here you just go for the next closest target. So just the next one on your screen to the one to your current target. I don't care too much about grouping. You could go in theory for groups instead of the next closest one, but I'm usually too busy with other things, so I do not notice them too well. I just go to the next closest one. Then apart from that, you have again a two motion type scenario where you have a big flick with your arm to the region of the target, and then you have a transition to a smooth, smooth tracking after the flick. So it's a little bit different than the static scenarios where you want to pause briefly after your big flick to understand where you have landed, which of course then funnels your arrow correction. But here you don't make this pause, you just go to the smooth tracking. The reason is it's more important for you to copy the speed of the target. So even if you miss flick and you just copy the speed, it's also kind of okay. Because actually correcting your crosshair onto a target that is static on your screen because you move your mouse at the exact same speed that the target moves is actually kind of easy. And what's hard is if you kind of just always compare your crosshair position to the target position and you try to adapt, then you kind of can adapt to the correct position, but not with the correct speed. And this is the problem with that. So if you kind of always kind of just make this flicking thing, it kind of works with these big targets. So of course it may deliberately shot in the wrong region, so kind of target lives longer. So it kind of would work if you just flick once and then hold, because of the size of the target and the killing speed and so on. But later you will get smaller targets which are harder, and then this will stop working. So you need to actually flick and then copy the speed of the mimic the speed of the target perfectly with your tracking. You really want to transition from big flick to tracking, and this is what target switching is about. You combine flick with track. And you want to have, of course, this arm movement as smooth as possible, which is, of course, smooth tracking. And this is a big thing. You want to flick and then really slow down. Okay? And with all target switching, try to predict when the target is about to die and try to go to the next target right before your target dies. Sometimes you make a mistake, that's fine, then the target survives. So like this, now the target survived, but that's fine. If the sometimes happen a little bit, don't worry about it, it's okay. It's better to have higher score for higher speed on most of the targets and let one or two targets live. Live and let live. Okay.